ഇഷ്ടമാവും, ചിലർക്ക് ചില കാര്യങ്ങൾ ഇഷ്ടമാവില്ല. But let us see what we have for you. Okay, so now let's move on to the business session. അപ്പോൾ ബിസിനസ് സെഷൻ കൈകാര്യം ചെയ്യുന്നത് ദുബായ് ചാപ്പിൽ നിന്ന് ഹാഷിം അബൂബക്കറാണ്. അദ്ദേഹം HR ഡയറക്ടർ കൂടിയാണ് ഫ്രം ദുബായ് ചാപ്റ്റർ. He is a founder and MD of Prime Strategy Group and certified in transaction analysis, and he is also NLP neuro-linguistic program. I don't know, so his topic is minimalism. I don't know what is minimalism. Is it discovering greater heights? Is it living bigger life with more passionate pursuit of our greater purpose and goals? We don't know. So please put your hands together to welcome Hashim Abubakar, who will be leading the session on minimalism for 30 minutes. So please sit, relax, and enjoy. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. Is it audible now? I was trying to make it unmute actually. Am I audible? I hope I'm audible. Assalamu alaikum, brothers. Masal khair. A very good afternoon to all my brothers in Dubai and Jeddah as well.
Okay.
It's wonderful to see all of you on the same platform. And thank you very much for the wonderful introduction by Brother Muhammad Kuni. Yes, the topic is minimalism. Let's discuss about that, definitely. Before we go further, I would like to just put across a question to all of you. I know most of us are on mute. I don't want you to mention it orally, but you can just send it by chat box. My first question could be, who is the happiest man in the world according to you? And my second question is, what is the most precious thing in the world? In life, you can say. I would like to hear it from you, not as a voice, but through the chat box. So according to you, who is the most happiest person in the world? And the second question is, what is the most precious thing in the world according to you? Can I know from your side? I would like to get it. Okay, time, me, myself, good. Time and just remember God, mashallah. Yes.
Achieving passion. Yeah.
Good. Yeah, there are plenty of. Peace, yes. Brother Abdul Hakim says it's health, it's peace. The man who contented, mashallah, peaceful. Quran, mashallah. Okay. Fine. We'll come towards the end of this the session. I think we can come back to this. There are plenty of messages coming. We'll discuss about it. Back in 2004, when I came to UAE for the first time, I had the great opportunity of working closely with a visionary business leader who is currently one of the most influential Indian businessmen in the Middle East, even listed by Forbes. I was heading the HR division for the group, and I had occasions where I traveled to different places along with the chairman. Most of the time, I used to wonder why he doesn't choose to stay at the most expensive hotels or to use luxurious travel methods or vehicles. I knew he had the financial stability to own even a private jet and an array of sports cars or whatever he wants. But he never showed any interest in all that. I was shocked to know that we never took even vehicle loans for the company till recently. I always used to wonder how he maintains this simplicity even after sitting on a business empire worth more than $3 billion without any single penny as a bank loan or any other investments. When I asked him once why he chose to make it so simple, he used to mention that I he even advised me that use 5% of your net income only for the expenses and limit your lifestyle and material possessions within that particular limit. At that point of time, myself or any of my colleagues never realized the importance of that particular advice until recently, when I started to realize and resonate it with the fundamentals of learning a simpler life with minimalism. Minimalism, we all must have heard this quite many times in our life. Before we talk about business effects of minimalism, let us see what exactly is minimalism in individual life. It's important to know what is individual minimalism before we get into the business. A lot of people think or connect minimalism with possessing less or enjoying less in life, but it's not that way. What is it then? Minimalism is actually a state of the mind. It's a state of mind, basically. In recent times, minimalism has become a trend, sure, but it was, as a concept, it was present or it has been there around centuries. It has traditionally been linked to pure intentional art and design concept, basically, but it's much more than that. In life, we define minimalism as the process of identifying what is essential in our life and eliminating the rest. Our modern lifestyles are far from minimalist. With so many distractions around us, we often find it difficult to create time and space to enjoy the simple things in life, like spending time with our families, exercising, getting creative, cooking, or just doing nothing. We are too busy being overwhelmed by physical, digital, and mental clutter that leads to increased anxiety and an overall sense of dissatisfaction. One of the ancient thinker Plato once said, in order to seek one's own direction, one must simplify the mechanics of ordinary everyday life. I would like to talk about one of the virus the humanity is affected with. No, I'm not talking about the COVID-19 virus. I'm not talking about that coronavirus at all. I'm talking about another virus that has affected the humanity in the recent past years. It's called the More virus. If you look at our current life, it's all filled with more internet, more cars, more clothes, more drugs, more dinners, more alcohol, more television, more news, more negativity, more social media. More is what we are up against as a society. This constant desire for more is something we call as more virus. And minimalism is an antidote to that state of overload. We call the more virus. A minimalist lifestyle means living with things we really need. It means removing anything that distracts us from living with intentionality and freedom. It's about considering the things and experiences in which we are investing our time and money and not giving us joy and satisfaction at all. In other words, it's a lifestyle which needs to be practiced on a daily basis. As a lifestyle concept, it can mean different things to different people. Minimalism is something that should be personal and unique to that person living it. There is no single set of rules or standards that we must follow to be a minimalist. The Global Waste Index recently announced that the average waste created by a human being in a year is around 497 kg. Modern consumerism and trappings of the excessive buying culture we have built in the recent past has resulted in huge increase of wastage. All of us know that. The disposable plastics and such wastages produced by human beings are adversely affecting the environment badly. In US alone, average wastage produced by a man is around 808 kg, which is almost a ton. It also says that the current wastage, if it continues in the same present manner, by 2050, there will be more plastic than fish in the oceans around the world. Another recent article about the current consumerism states that it is addictive and that 70% of the current retail purchases by any individual actually leads to wastage. Something called digital minimalism. All of us are in a world of digital devices nowadays. Recent research by AC Nielsen says media usage, media includes everything, it could be television or gadgets or whatever. A media usage amounts to a normal man nowadays is almost 10 plus hours a day. In a chart recently published, one of the statistics of television consumption says developed countries, majorly in European countries, the average consumption of television or average usage of a television by an individual is almost 250 plus minutes, which is almost 4 hours per day. Considering that most people are awake 16 to 18 hours a day only, 10 to 11 hours of electronic media usage seems like a lot. But to be fair, much of that probably happens while doing other things at the same time. It's a good thing people were given the ability to multitask. Otherwise, we wouldn't get a whole lot done these days at all. So if we have to sum it up in a single sentence, we would say minimalism is a tool to reduce the excess things from our life in favor of focusing on what is important. It's a tool that can assist us in finding freedom, like freedom from fear, freedom from worry, guilt, from depression, and trappings of the consumer culture we have built our lives around, the real freedom. Minimalism is owning fewer possessions. It is intentionally living with only the things we really need, those items that support our core purposes. It is also intentionality. Being a minimalist means intentionally promoting the things we most value and removing everything that distracts from it. It is freedom from passion to possess. Modern culture has taught us that the good life is found in accumulating things, in possessing as much as possible. Embracing minimalism brings freedom from the all-consuming passion to possess. It values relationships, experiences, and soul-care. It lets us see all that we already have and reminds us to be grateful. It's a freedom from modern mania. Our world runs at a feverish pace. We are all too hurried, too rushed, and too stressed. We work long, passionate hours to pay the bills, but fall deeper into debt every day. We rush from one activity to another, even multitasking along the way, but never seems to get anything done. We remain in constant connection with others through cell phones and everything, but true life-changing relationships never happens. Becoming a minimalist slows down life and frees us from this modern hysteria to live faster. It offers freedom to disengage. It is freedom from duplicity as well. Most of the people actually live in duplicity. All of us know we live one life around our family, another life around our co-workers, and another life around our neighbors. This lifestyle we have chosen requires us to portray a certain external image depending on our circumstances. On the other hand, a simpler life is united and consistent. It's honest and transparent. So, minimalism is not external, but internal. And finally, minimalism is completely achievable. The ancient thinker Seneca once said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." Most of my life, I have hated the idea of having too much stuff. I don't like clutter, and I find simplicity as the most beautiful thing in the world. This could be the same for many of us. I'm sure about it. But that never stops us from spending or acquiring too many stuff unknowingly. We all end up accumulating things which are really not needed, but we normally realize it very late. There are some advantages of practicing minimalism. Like some of them include, we can save a lot of money, we can save time, it reduces stress, and we can get a lot more out of our life. Some we can say we'll have less desire to buy. The moment we start practicing minimalism, our desire for buying more comes down. We'll be able to find what we need quickly because we will actually prioritize our needs. We'll have clearer mind. We will start experiencing visual satisfaction, less stress, and greater happiness. And normally, it leads us to realize that less is greater than more. We can start this in a small and process steps actually. Some of the steps which I can tell you, let's list out all the current commitments we have. Prioritize them most essential to least essentials. Start eliminating the least essential commitments what we made. Think about what is adding to our life, adding value to our life. Every month, we can start this process again until we are only doing things that is adding maximum value to our life. Let's start saying no to things that don't move us in the direction we want to go actually. Always ask ourselves before we buy anything, before we purchase anything, we always let us ask, do I really need this? We'll be surprised how many times we will say no. So minimalism helps us eliminate our discontent, reclaim our time, live at the moment and pursue our passions, discover mission, experience our real freedom, grow as an individual, and finally discover the purpose of life. That is the most important thing. Let's talk about minimalism in business now. In fact, that is my topic as a business session. The business world is full of gurus and coaches telling you that to be successful, you have to rise to the top, get noticed, and create six figures businesses. Let me tell you, beyond my HR and business background, academically, I'm a lawyer. And hence, I would like to take an anticipatory bail, or let me tell you in advance, before I put across my point of minimalist business. It is not suitable for those who believe and practice in asset or wealth accumulations, or those aspiring business owners who strive for extreme income goals instead of their happiness. Those those kind of business models normally guides them towards a life filled with excessive pressure, at the cost of our time and values. So a minimalist business focuses on conspicuous choices that benefit the businesses and the people working in it. It's uncomplicated, intentional, and simple. It's very easy to get caught up all the advices out there offered by the so-called business coaches, with all due respect to trainers and coaches. I just mentioned it here. Many of these advices, which is about growth and increasing revenue to high levels at the expenses of our time, values, and attention. If instead we were to develop an intentional business based on putting the value we bring in our own or people's lives first, we would then create something which not only sells itself, but makes a real difference to the lives of our customers. So minimalism can be applied to more than just things in our life. As I initially said, it's not just in individual life. And in terms of business, this can apply to many areas, like devices we use, softwares we pay for, systems we have implemented, number of products or services that we normally offer, number of social media platforms we are on, processes we normally use to talk to customers, amount of time we spend on certain tasks, etc., etc. So in business, minimalism is about more than simply decluttering tangible items from our space. It's a process centered on conscious, deliberate choices, self-assessment, and the elimination of distractions from the business. The result means we focus only on what we need and truly value, leading to business benefits, such as we get greater resourcefulness and creativity, improved clarity and confidence in decision making, normally reduce stress throughout the business hierarchy, lowered operating costs. Whenever we get into minimalism, it lowers the operational costs, fewer interruptions, better time management, enhanced workflows, and task prioritization. These are some of the benefits that we get once we move into minimalist culture in business. We all know this man, I'm sure, a legend in the corporate world who has transformed the business scenario in the past, we call 10 to 20 years. He's no more now, Steve Jobs. The Apple founder was a firm believer in minimalism. It said that the success of his products is attributed to beautifully simple design and user friendliness of the software. All of us know that. All of us are fans of iPhone or iMac or whatever. But Steve Jobs took it even to the higher level. Simplify complexity was the main lesson he taught businesses. This technique shows that the focal point is not the sophisticated product you sell, but the way you approach the customer and develop lead generation tactics. Steve Jobs not only applied this philosophy in business alone, he was also very much a part of what he was. The former Apple CEO, John Scully, once said, during an interview, he said, I remember going to Steve Jobs' house one day and he had almost no furniture in it. He just had a picture of Einstein, whom he admired greatly, and he had a Tiffany lamp and a chair and a bed. That's it. He just didn't believe in having a lot of things around. But he was incredibly careful in what he selects or what he selected. And we all know he even chose his clothing, his costume to be the simplest. In fact, we have seen that he's mostly appeared in that blue jeans and a black t-shirt, which he wanted to avoid the decision-making process that comes on a daily basis. In order to avoid that conflict of interest and confusion of decision-making, he used a particular way of wearing the same kind of or same colors of colored clothes on a daily basis. This is part of again his minimalist lifestyle. So as we learn more about minimalism and how its principles can advance our business, we need to consider some questions in our mind. What do you love? What do you actually love about your business? Parts of your business arouse negative thoughts or negative energy. What motivates you to explore minimalism as a business philosophy? What do you hope to achieve by using minimalist ideas in your business? Are your goals realistic? Or is it just daydreams that cannot ultimately apply to the business model? So when we think of this, there are three fundamental principles for a minimalist business. There are three major things. One is mindfulness, another one is intention, and freedom. Mindfulness is basically awareness. Within every business, mindfulness is evident by having a complete understanding of all organizational divisions, implementing reporting processes throughout the organization. This is what is called mindfulness, having a total awareness. Intention it's more like purpose. Businesses that operates with a specific purpose embody that company's mission at all levels. Now coming to the third point, which is freedom. Freedom is basically flexibility. With minimalist emphasis on value and need, businesses gain greater financial freedom or financial independence. We can broadly have 8 ways to practice minimalism as a business owner. One, to have a purposeful business model. This is very important to start minimalism in every business. Then evaluate what we have to get done and do that. Third is to simplify and automate processes. There are a lot of processes like paying bills, monthly bills, SMS notification on project completions, data report generation, scheduling, or even reminders, invoice process. There are a lot of automation available at this moment which can be easily made. The fourth point is to utilize productivity and collaboration tools. Like we said, there are plenty of tools available to make the work easier nowadays. And focus on results. Sixth point is to hire experts, always hire experts. Seventh is to delegate the responsibility wherever possible. The eighth point is to recognize that as a businessman, we are always separate from the business. So we can plan this step by step. We don't have to rush to a minimalist. We can broadly classify it as 6 different steps. The first step should be declutter and simplify our own business or personal workspace. Then this next step is to determine the key goals for the minimalism plan. Step 3 is set rules for your business strategies. Your rules should be based on the 3 fundamental principles that we just discussed, like mindfulness, intention, and freedom. Step 4 is to establish a timeline for the phased implementations. Step 5 is on your calendar, set reminders for periodic checks. Step 6, continue learning and growing. In addition to gaining insights from the experiences and feedback of the staff within our minimalist business, it is important to enhance your own understanding of minimalism and how it relates to your organization. At the same time, I would like to say that minimalism is not a cure or remedy for all the business issues. It will not act as an antidote if there are serious internal issues within your organization. What it can do, however, is to provide a source of simplicity, purpose, and uniqueness to any business that will translate to tangible improvements in the company's finances, culture, and endurance. Remember, there is no perfect time for anything. There is only now. In the beginning of my session, I had asked a couple of questions to you. I know most of you have replied to the same. Some of them said peace, some of them said health, some of them said something else. So, the ancient, eminent thinker, Greek thinker Socrates once said, "The secret of happiness you see is not found in seeking more, but in developing the capacity to enjoy less." And this is where a lot of us lacking in. And this is where the true happiness can be found. As a Muslim, we all have a spiritual responsibility in life too. And those who understand minimalism can easily relate it to the spiritual obligation we have towards the Almighty. In Surah Takasur, chapter 102 of Holy Quran, Allah Ta'ala says us, the mutual rivalry for piling up of worldly things diverts you. Al-Haqmu Takathur. I don't want to recite the complete surah right now. I'm sure you will know it better than me. So all the 8 ayahs of the surah clearly mentions that we are all, it directly, Allah Ta'ala directly tells us, those people who are completely involved in possessing wealth or accumulating the worldly pleasures, you will come to know one day that it is all worthless. It is all worthless, and it was all worthless. So minimalism is not just a lifestyle, it is something which brings a lot of spiritual enhancements in every one of our life, inshallah. With this, I would like to conclude my business session, and I keep it open for all of you to have any questions in this regard. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Mohammed Kuni.
Yeah. Thank you, Hashim. Thank you very much. I think we can have at least 3 or 4 questions. അപ്പോൾ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ചോദിക്കാൻ വേണ്ടി 3 വിധത്തിൽ ചെയ്യാം. ഒന്ന്, യു കെൻ റേസ്, അതായത് സൂമിൽ റൈറ്റ് സൈഡിൽ റേസ് ഹാൻഡ് എന്നുള്ളൊരു ഓപ്ഷൻ ഉണ്ട്. അതല്ലെങ്കിൽ നിങ്ങൾ ചാറ്റ് ചെയ്തിട്ട് യെസ് ഐ വോണ്ട് ടു ആസ്ക് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ചാറ്റ് ബോക്സിൽ തന്നെ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ചോദിക്കാം. അതല്ലെങ്കിൽ വീഡിയോ ഓൺ ചെയ്ത് നമ്മുടെ കോഹോസ്റ്റ് നിങ്ങളെ വീഡിയോ സ്വിച്ച് ഓൺ ചെയ്തായിരിക്കും, ദെൻ യു കെൻ ആസ്ക് ഡയറക്ട്ലി. സോ ആർക്കാണ് ഫസ്റ്റ് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ചോദിക്കേണ്ടത്? പ്ലീസ് ഗോ ഹെഡ്. Co-host Fawaz, Samir, please check any question in the chat box. Anyway, it's a wonderful session, Hashim. So please give him a big round of applause.
Thank you. Questions are being asked or by chat?
Yeah, just a minute. We are just waiting. Questions. Okay, just a minute. Yeah, it is just a compliment, beautiful talk, excellent talk, awesome session, but there is no question. Yes, okay, Rashid, yes, go ahead.
It's okay. Shall I talk in Malayalam? It's okay.
Yeah.
Please.
Even I think
Okay.
it can speak also Arabic.
So
No, I didn't want to mix it up. ഞാൻ മിക്സ് ആക്കാതിരിക്കാൻ വേണ്ടി മാത്രമാണ് അത് കംപ്ലീറ്റ് ഇംഗ്ലീഷിലാക്കിയത്. സോ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ആൻസർ ക്യാൻ ബി കംപ്ലീറ്റ് ഇൻ മലയാളം. മലയാളത്തിൽ സംസാരിക്കാം.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. എൻ്റെ പേര് റഷീദ്, ഞാൻ മസ്കറ്റിൽ നിന്നാണ്.
Okay.
സിജിനാണ്. ഓക്കെ. ഞാൻ ചോദിക്കുന്നത്, മിനിമലിസം നല്ല സ്പീച്ച് ആയിരുന്നു. ഐ ആം റിയലി അപ്രിഷിയേറ്റ്.
Thank you.
എന്റെ ചോദ്യം എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്, മിനിമലിസത്തിലോട്ട് പോയി കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ നമ്മുടെ ഒരു കാര്യം ചെയ്യാനുള്ള ആ ഒരു മോട്ടീവ് ഉണ്ടല്ലോ, നേടിയെടുക്കണം എന്നുള്ള ഒരു പ്രൊഫഷനിൽ നിൽക്കുകയാണെങ്കിൽ അടുത്ത ലെവലിലേക്ക് മൂവ് ചെയ്യണം എന്നുള്ള ഒരു ആഗ്രഹം, അത് ഇതിൽ മാത്രം ഞാൻ ഐ ആം സാറ്റിസ്ഫൈഡ് വിത്ത് ദിസ് സ്റ്റേജ് എന്നുള്ള ലെവലിലേക്ക് പോവില്ലേ?
ആൻസർ ചെയ്തോട്ടെ?
ഓക്കെ.
അതാണ് മിനിമലിസം. ഫസ്റ്റ് ഞാൻ പറയുന്നത്, ഫസ്റ്റില് മിനിമലിസം എന്ന് പറയുന്നതുകൊണ്ട് നമ്മളെ തോട്ട്സോ നമ്മളെ അംബിഷൻസോ ലിമിറ്റ് ചെയ്യുക